right, I'm an actual scientist. Do we have any other PhD trained scientists in the audience tonight? Something all scientists have. But I am not going to be doing any science tonight. I'm going to be doing improv, something I'm demonstrably worse at. But to get things started, I will first pass it over to my least scientific friend, Sam.
I have a Master's of Science in Education in IT. But unlike Tom, I'll have some humility and not think I'm the most smart person on the team. But we do need to figure out who that person is tonight, and we're going to do that by playing a game called Categories. The way this works is I will come in for a category, and then I will point to one of my performers, and they will say something in that category. So if we have colors, it might be
red. Ice cube.
That's not a color. That means Mary Claire gets 1 strike. She gets it wrong again, that's 2 strikes. And then that person who got 2 wrong is out. Now we want to make it feel pretty bad, so can we all do that together at the same time? Mary Claire gets 1 hand, gets a 2nd hand. Mary Claire is So, can I get our first category?
Noodles.
Noodles.
Fettuccine. Angel hair. Penne.
Rigatoni.
Bucatini.
Spaghetti. No. Those little bow ties.
Double noodle soup.
What?
Only 1 noodle in my soup. Another category.
Emojis.
Emojis.
Peach. Smiley face.
Cucumber.
Eggplant. Cat. Dancing lady. Cat with hard eyes. A witch. A witch with hard eyes.
Skull eyes. Another category.
M&M's.
M&M's.
Oh. Red. Green. Oh, wow. Peanut butter pretzel. Peanut. Crunchy.
Yep.
Red and
No! No red M&M's. Another category, baby.
Reese Witherspoon movies.
How many houses? I don't know. I'm going on your reaction. If you like it, say it.
Legally Blonde. Yeah.
Legally Blonde 2.
Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah. Oh, election. Yeah.
Libby is. Categories.
She's here.
Dog breeds.
Yes. Oh, the long skinny ones.
Sure.
Porkies.
Oh, the big ones. Shepherds.
Opposite.
That's a wiener dog. Tom is. So much for that PhD. You don't even know. Another category. Languages. Languages.
Hard.
French.
Somalian. Italian.
English. Portuguese. German.
Basque. Portuguese.
We got it! Another category.
Dipping sauces.
Dippable sauces.
Honey mustard. Ketchup. Ranch. Barbecue.
Garlic ale.
White barbecue. I did my French fries in it, and you are dissing something.
Okay. Big passion.
Ketchup.
I just really like ketchup. Another category.
Michael Jackson songs.
Michael Jackson songs.
Pretty okay. Black and white.
Yeah.
A thriller.
Yep. That's not a song. Alright, you have the buzzer.
Oh, but stop pressuring me.
That's green! That's green!
Shit!
No, there it is! Yeah, 3 left, 2 strikes. Category.
House styles.
House styles?
Yeah, like architectural.
Yeah, architectural house
Colonial.
The Southern Plantation.
Dutch colonial.
Telling it all now.
I don't like plastic. Alright, everybody's got a strike. Another category.
Marvel movies.
Marvel movies.
Ant-Man. Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Captain America, Civil.
And no more sequels.
Avengers.
What? Which one is Black Widow?
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Can I not say the Avengers? Endgame?
No! Our final 2 competitors. One of them will be the smartest person on the team. What's our final smart category?
Taylor Swift song. Hell yeah!
Nothing smarter. Taylor Swift songs.
Lover.
Back to December.
Lavender Haze.
Carolina.
Red.
No!
We've heard from all of this, but now let's bring up the actual smartest scientific person in the room. She's an associate professor in both biological sciences and earth and environmental sciences at Vanderbilt University. She's also a certified trained paleontologist who takes her labs on the regular to Alaska to dig for bones. Let's bring up Dr. Larisa DeSantis.
Alright, so thanks so much for having me. This would be the traditional title I would give at a scientific talk. But this is the talk I'm going to give today, which is Top Predators Go Extinct. We will too if we don't get our shit together. Alright, so the next slide. Alright, so before I get started, I just want to thank all of the students who are here supporting me today, and also all the students who have contributed to various aspects of these bits. If you're interested in our lab, we've got a Twitter follower. I think I've got like 200 followers, so. Alright, so I actually do have a little bit of street cred as a Miss Frizzle. I mean, I do look like her a little bit, right? But I used to drive this. This is a 38-foot Winnebago that when I was in between graduate school, my master's in environmental management and my PhD in zoology, I actually lived in New York City, drove a 30-foot Winnebago to different schools shortly after 9/11, and we would bring the museum to the students, which was really fun. So I got to be Miss Frizzle in reality. And actually, how I got my start in paleontology, a lot of people are like, oh, do you always want to be a paleontologist? Because most 7-year-olds want to be a paleontologist. And I was like, well, I thought it was cool. I grew up in LA, went to La Brea Tar Pits, and but actually I was in college, and a friend of mine was like, hey, there's this class. It's being taught by one of People Magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People. You want to check it out? I kid you not. Like, that's the real story. So my husband actually bought me the magazine, which is how I got my start in paleontology. So I started taking the class, and I had this blue slip of paper, which let me actually enroll in the class. But I had to be a junior and a bio major, which I was neither, but I had the blue slip of paper, so that was awesome. And then within a few weeks, I was actually preparing fossils. But you may ask, why do I study fossils? And why do I study conservation with fossils? Well, conservation is really important, and actually understanding responses to climate change is really key. But if I want to study this jaguar and how this jaguar is going to respond to ongoing climate change, I've got to go out and I've got to monitor jaguar populations. I've got to do it every year for like 5 years, 10 years. Maybe I get a long-term ecological research grant and do it for like 100 years, or people do it for 100 years rather. But essentially, with the fossil record, I can actually go back in time and I can ask very similar questions, but use the fossil record to answer those questions. So I can look at how animals in the past have responded to climate change. Next. All right, so my main aim is to clarify biotic responses to climate change. So biotic is live, living, yay, okay, great. Okay, next slide. And I study this through the lens of diet. And why diet is so important is it affects everything or most things that the animal does. So this koala here, it eats eucalyptus, right? So what does it need to like live? Eucalyptus tree. Okay, you're on your way to get your PhD. And the cheetah is going to hunt this rabbit. Well, it's got to actually be able to physically chase down the rabbit. And then it also can affect sort of the way in which animals move across their landscape, like wildebeest making the migration. And it can even affect things like reproduction, right? So whether, how frequently animals reproduce and whether those individuals actually survive. So diet's really, really, really important. All right, so these are all of the ancient ecosystems that I work. And we have ones that are Australia over here with these giant diprotodontic, wombat-like animal, thylacines, giant kangaroos taller than me. We've got things from Florida, things from Rancho La Brea, things from the Arctic. We work on all continents except for Antarctica. I'm not good with cold weather, so we'll go to the next slide. But short of like a time machine or a time turner, I need to figure out how I can actually reconstruct ancient environments. And I do this using different proxy methods. So I'll show you what those are. So these proxy methods are things like morphology, right? The shape of the skull, so I can tell if it has sharp teeth, it's eating. Awesome. And flat teeth, it's eating. Good job. All right. But I can also, oh no, go back. But I can also look at the shape of the teeth and figure out how much wear. So I can indicate if it's eating grass or browse. I can look at the microscopic wear patterns on the teeth. So if there's lots of scratches, it's eating tough foods. If there's like various pits and really chewed up surfaces, it might be eating browse or something else, which is leaves and woody plants. I can also drill into the teeth, so I get to pretend I'm a paleontologist, but my patients are dead. And basically, based on the isotopes, we can tell if an animal was eating with what are called C3 plants or C4 plants. And they're just different types of plants. And in places that are in more southern latitudes, they typically correspond to grasses and leaves or shrubs. In other places, it gets more complicated, which is why we have to use all these methods to kind of figure it out. All right, next slide. Okay, so one of the questions I really want to know is what are the effects of aridification, which means the drying out, excellent, okay, drying out of the continent. And so we're looking at how Australia in the past got drier. They really are, the continent is important. This is important for Australians, but it's also important for us because it sort of like serves as a canary in the coal mine. So we can get some sense of how these, what happened there and how this might affect us today, especially in places like California and out west. All right, next slide. It's hot in Australia is the point of this slide. I tried to find a graph so you can correspond the Celsius degrees to Fahrenheit, but my daughter speaks in emojis, so it's really hot and it's really fucking hot. Alright, so next slide. So kangaroos are really useful at being sort of like barometers. They can actually tell relative humidity. So we can sample kangaroos today that are living, that we know are living in wet environments, and we get these blue squares down here. We also have kangaroos that are living in low rainfall environments in these orange squares, and then medium rainfall is the green in between. But I can study kangaroos that are from like 400,000 years ago and 30,000 years ago and see that it went from a dry to drier. So I can actually assess what the climate was doing in the past. Next slide. We can also, you can look up top, all those little tiny little marks on the tooth. That's a lower incisor that grows out in this giant wombat-like animal the size of a rhino, which is pretty cool. And as it's growing, it's recording everything it's eating and everything it's drinking into its tissues. And so we can actually look at these up and down squiggles and interpret how seasonal that environment was and how the diet might have been changing. Next slide. All right, so one of the things we figured out is that in the past we had this really old site, Cuddy Springs, a site in New South Wales, Australia, and things were just kind of eating everything, right? There's little dots and bumps and things all along this axis. But then in the most recent, about 30,000 years ago, you see this sort of empty space. They're not eating C4 resources. Now what those C4 resources are things like saltbush, and saltbush has salt. Awesome. Okay, good. So salt is not great if there's no water. Thank you. And so if there's no water, these animals are going to have to compete more with each other for similar resources. So is this good or bad? Bad. Awesome. All right, you got it. Okay, so we can't rule out climate and subsequent ecological changes. We need to consider these things. Now what about really big things that can kill you? Next one. Okay, this thing is known as the marsupial lion. Okay, it's a pretty neat animal. Colleague of mine refers to it instead as the killer wombat. And this is a great name actually, because like the panda, the giant panda evolved from carnivorous animals, this carnivorous animal evolved from herbivorous animals. So it's pretty neat. What's really cool about it is it has a bite force that's 80% that of living lions, but it's only about 30 to 50% of its body size. So it can really, like, don't stick your finger in it. And actually, these two teeth here form one shearing facet. So those are actually two distinct teeth, not a broken tooth, and it's just like a scissor, actually like a bolt cutter. Now, I actually do tell one joke in most of my talks when I give them, and that's a lot of the morphology work has been done by this guy, Steve Rowe, and he has the Fear Lab, and I have the Dream Lab. So we can put those together. Nightmare. Very good. All right, next slide. Okay, so I can drill the teeth and figure out what these things were eating. I can also look in the microwear, and basically we looked at these marsupial lions from all over Australia, so paid vacation to Australia, right? Great. Next slide. And so then we can actually compare these to living animals. So we have things like cheetahs, which are avoiding bone in red. We have lions, which are eating flesh and bone. And then we have hyenas, which are actively consuming bone in blue. And you can see the kind of examples of those images here. All right, so what is Diacoleo doing? It's eating everything. It can do whatever it wants. It can eat flesh and bone. It has bolt cutters as teeth. Next slide. Okay, but what's really surprising is that Diacoleo is very specialized on things from the forest. So these are all the different isotope values of all the different herbivores that live in this community. We've got various kangaroos, we've got lots of things that have gone extinct. Various things are actually eating that saltbush. We've got wombats, diprotodons, all sorts of interesting animals. And yet Diacoleo is only eating things from the forest, from the densest part of the forest. So this picture here, showing this animal like coming from the treetops and jumping on this protemodon, is like exactly what we think is happening, right? This actually, the image actually came before the data, which is really kind of fun. All right, so they're specialized. So no matter where we looked, if we looked in Queensland, if we looked in Western Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, everywhere across Australia, the same picture. And so if this graph continued like over there, like the C4 values are gonna be there. Right? So it's not eating things from an open environment, it's relying on hunting things from a forest. Excellent. Okay, next slide. So what does this mean? It means this ambush predator was capable of sort of chewing anything it wanted, right, flesh and bone, but it was heavily restricted to hunting things from the treetops. That's how it hunted. So this fierce animal was unable to withstand aridification or climate change because as Australia began to aridify and you basically had the opening up of forests throughout the entire continent, they went extinct. So Basically, these apex predators were unable to withstand mutation. So the take home for this talk is it's the end of the world is not happening. And with that,
I told her not to tell that story about taking my class in undergrad. So embarrassing. Anyway, we're going to do an activity right now called Lab Partners. So what we need to do right now, we're just going to, in pairs, discuss some of the themes that we heard in that lecture. So I need some suggestions from you guys for Paige and Sam. Something that you heard from the lecture.
Habitat loss.
Teeth. Okay, rotate right. That's the neat part about it. When I tell them to rotate right, that's what they do. It's so cool. Okay, we need another suggestion. Let's go from this section for James and Paige.
Predator.
Predators.
Predator.
Yeah, rotate right. Okay, and then from this section over here for Mary Claire and James.
Killer wombat.
Killer wombat. Rotate right. And then one more for Sam and Mary Claire. Australia. Okay, let's review. Rotate right.
Teeth.
Rotate right.
Predator.
Okay, rotate right.
Killer wombat.
Rotate right.
Australia.
Okay, rotate right and begin.
That's the
Oh, these little things.
be ashamed if something happened.
Wait, you have to say it like that?
What could happen? What could happen? What could happen?
Anything.
Anything.
Can I recommend teeth insurance?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I shouldn't have accepted it right away.
The bargain's done.
Rotate right.
This little guy is actually one of the fiercest predators
What?
in all of North America. He will literally just jump and bite your face. Your
Here?
face.
Mine, specifically. Did you train him to do that?
I mean, no.
I know we were having problems, but I thought we were getting over it.
The counseling didn't work.
Look. How far along is this process?
It's not very far, right?
I mean, you know, I wouldn't say it. I don't know why you're doing that.
Well, I thought maybe if it smells me, it might be fine, you know?
Best of luck.
Claude, are you kidding me?
Why?
I really thought we were going through things. We were taking the necessary process, and we were doing it. We were working on it. I thought that, once you told me that I was kind of annoying because I talked a lot.
Oh God, rotate right.
Larry, we have been crouching in this tree for 5 hours, and I have yet to see anything I can kill.
The life of a killer wombat is very difficult.
I tell you, it's getting harder. It's getting harder every year, Larry.
The aridification is making it so hard to be in the forest all the time.
It's getting so difficult to murder on the regular.
There are too many things that are salty. Don't like it at all.
Larry, is this the new world?
I don't know if we're going to make it through.
Let's see. Rotate right.
Yeah, this free vacation to Australia is pretty great. So we just gotta pretend like we did some research while we're here, right? That's a flower.
And it's,
Orange.
orange. Absolutely. That's some data, high quality data collection.
Why is it orange?
Dude, that's actual work, man.
But I'm fascinated.
See, this is what happens, all right? The science brain never turns off. We try to go on a real vacation. Science keeps happening everywhere.
Okay, right.
So I noticed that every time I look in a mirror, my tooth falls out. I didn't read over everything, obviously, but
That's on you.
that's, well, I feel like my insurance representative, that should have been something that you told me.
Should have been bigger. Can I recommend life insurance?
Life insurance? Yeah.
Taylor struck the bargain is done! Listen, Diane, I'm really sorry, okay? I didn't mean for it to gnaw off your tibia. I really didn't.
I'm afraid to tell. What? Hear me.
Listen, it only, it only hears you when you talk, breathe, sort of walk around generally. Like, once it identifies a specific target, it does that for a while until it's done.
Like, it doesn't hit me.
I mean, until its prey is totally immobilized and has had all the meat removed from their carcass, general, it has these teeth, bolt cutters. Very weird because it's so small, but it has some honky teeth.
Yeah, I know this. You can try to make sure me.
I get the house.
Fine. Take it. I don't want it. There's a lot of deals being made.
Larry!
Greg!
I can't even find a tree to climb now.
They're so short, they don't grow anymore because they don't have enough water to draw from the ground.
Oh, they're calling it the bush now.
We were made for the bush! We were made for the forest! I miss the forest, Greg!
We took it such for granted.
We thought that we would live forever atop the predation jar.
And these humans, I tell you, Larry.
Well, tell me what about the humans?
They don't taste very good at all.
That's actually better news than I thought it was going to be.
Listen, I thought that Disneyland would be completely scrubbed of any scientific evidence.
This bush. It's so green.
It's a world of laughter, a world
It's made of plastic.
Came here. How?
It's a small world.
They're gonna
To study.
It's a small world after all. It's a small
Okay,
world after all.
Someone shut that right up! Hey, how about $20?
Yeah, I mean,
The deal is struck, the bargain complete!
Listen, Diane, I'm really sorry that you're in a full body cast right now.
turning into a smaller creature.
I already feel my muscles shrinking.
We're going to be so small, and no one will respect us anymore. So small.
They look tasty.
No.
We were once atop the predation chart. Now we are prey.
Oh no.
Oh, come on, Dad, we're at the zoo. Let go. We don't need to do science here.
Look how small they've got!
Distinction is crippling. We have a great piece for you now. We have the Carbon Dating Show. Yes. Even scientists look for love. All right. We've got our eligible bachelor here, Sam. We're gonna send him out of the room. And while we figure out who their mystery dates are. So let's get everybody to say goodbye to Sam. Bye, Sam! All right, let's get him all the way out, all the way out. All right, okay. Now that our bachelor is left, these are the 3 mystery dates available, and I'm going to need your help. For our first mystery date, can I get a celebrity or a character from fiction? It can be a fictional character.
Ariana Grande.
I heard Ariana Grande. Okay, our second mystery date has a fear, but it's like an irrational fear, an unexpected fear that not many people...
Afraid of sword swallowers.
Afraid of sword swallowers?
Yeah.
Yes, terrified of sword swallowers. I don't know how irrational that is, but we're gonna go with it. Oh, okay. Scared of sword swallowers. And our third mystery date is slowly turning into something.
Dragon.
I heard dragon.
Yeah.
Slowly turning into a dragon. So let's just review mystery date 1, you are.
Ariana Grande.
Mystery date 2, you are.
Irrationally, but kind of rationally, afraid of sword swallowers.
Hi, mystery date number 3, you are.
Turning into a dragon.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. And so we're gonna bring Sam back in here, and Sam is going to be deciding who he would like to date. When he gets pretty a little close to guessing his mystery dates' true identities, let's get if he gets one detail right, maybe we give a snap or like a little golf clap. If he gets it close, let's get louder. If he gets it right on the nail, we want to just go crazy. So let's practice that, like the golf claps, snaps, maybe a little louder. All right, excellent. And if they are way far away, we'll get like a. Alright, let's bring Sam back in with a get in here, Sam. 1, 2, 3. Get in here, Sam! Excellent. Welcome to Carbon Dating. Yeah, just an awkward handshake. That's what we do. That's how we kick it off here. Yes, have a seat. Have a seat. We'd love to hear a little bit about you before we kick this off.
Hi, I'm Sam. My love life has been facing a bit of an irradiation process. I'm afraid it's going to go extinct if I don't find love tonight.
Excellent. Well, I tell you what, so we have 3 mystery dates here for you, and I'm going to let you jump right in with a question for these mystery dates.
Sure. I was start with Bachelor contestant 1. Where would our first date be?
Yeah, I would take us out, probably to see a show, but probably not SNL. You know, that would be bad, but you know, I love music and that's kind of my life, and let's go to a concert.
Cool. Contestant 2?
I would take you to the outbacks of Australia, where I will help. Together, we can find the last living thylacine. Tasmanian tiger.
Okay.
We find it together and figure out how they died. Could be by humans, by guns, nothing else.
Hi, my name's Sarah. I would say a first date would be great if you could just get me out of my lair and like into the skies. Like sometimes I just like to be out in the clouds and scoping out what's happening in the earth and what's cruising around down there.
How you feeling?
These are some interesting situations. I think I need some more questions.
Yeah, have at it.
Okay. Let's do it. Contestant 1. If you were going to meet my parents, what things might you change about yourself to appeal to my parents?
Sometimes people tell me I have a little bit of like my speaking voice is maybe a little off-putting sometimes to people.
I get that.
So I'd say probably that.
All right. Contestant 2. If we go to Disneyland, what's the best ride we should hit?
There's no thylacine in Disneyland. We need to find it and track it down. Because we're just wasting our time at Disneyland. That's for like horrible. It's close to the circus, and you know what that means. That's how people have died. By just like putting like, oh, I don't even want to talk about what they put in their mouths and how they, oh no. We will stick to the outback.
Okay. Contestant 3. If I like to collect things, what kind of things would you collect?
I think I would collect victims. I mean, yummy treats. I like snacks in my lair. Sometimes people keep me locked up in chains, and I just get so hungry. And then when they let me out into the air, I think I've gotten distracted. What was the question?
It doesn't matter. I'm really interested in dating a dragon.
We'll make sure she has some snacks.
So like I gotta focus on these two then.
Before we go on, Mr. Date, let me just, your ponytail has become wrapped around. All right, yes, please.
Contestant number 1, what's your favorite TV show?
Probably Victorious. Just a throwback show, reminds me of, being younger and all of those kinds of things.
Contestant 2, if there was something that came in threes that we might be afraid of, would you be afraid of one of those 3 things?
The only thing that we should all be afraid of is death. But I'm not. Only a specific way. And that's how I found one thylacine on the floor. Sword right in its stomach. But it didn't look like it came from the stomach. It looked like it came through another orifice. And that haunts me to this day.
Okay, got it. I don't know if I can date somebody who's afraid of sword swallowing. I'm gonna have to date Ariana Grande.
Good evening,
everybody. We are having a great time this evening. As we have gone through this evening, we heard from our scientists about things dying off. We're playing a game called Natural Selection, where our 4 contestants are going to perform a scene, and then we're going to cut them, and we're going to cut them by your applause. So I'm going to point to Tom, and if nobody likes Tom, don't even clap. Just in the game. So after each round, we'll cut one person, and then we'll replace them with one of the other actors in our scene. Can I get a suggestion of anything at all that we've heard this evening?
50 most beautiful.
50 most
Love it.
Love it. Oh, love that too.
Look at that strut. Wow.
Pretty soon you're gonna make it back up to the top 213 most beautiful people.
I think that will do it.
I just wanted to be the 214.
It was good. It was good.
That seemed really disingenuous. I now have 100 followers on Twitter, though.
Yay!
It's a lot.
Hey, I know you just walked in here with a blue slip, and you're just like, I belong here now. You too. You could be 214.
Get out while you still can.
Everybody was on the floor. I just wanted to. That was part of it.
Just want to let you know that Paris, Tennessee can be really cruel.
All right, we're gonna do natural selection based on your applause. So if Tom did a great job, give Tom a round of applause. If Lindsay did a great job, give her a round of applause. How about Lily? Mary and Claire? I'm sorry, you have been made extinct.
It's because I'm huge.
Libby, you will be playing the parts of both yourself and Tom. And begin!
Oh yes, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that's it. You've got it. Or other things.
I guess being 214 will be good enough.
I just wanted to be 215.
I really should pay more attention, but. So, right? You stop. Get out.
Tom, and yourself about this entire thing. And begin!
Beautiful, so beautiful.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I think that's good enough to make the 214th coolest people list here in Paris, Tennessee. I guess that'll be okay.
I just want to be the 215th best person in Paris, Tennessee.
Listen, you can make it. If you work hard enough and you get more Twitter followers and you really make a name for yourself.
But I have
You know?
100. I have 100.
You're gonna have to step it up. You're gonna have to step it up. You might be able to make it to like 350 with that. Everybody was on the floor. I just wanted to be a part of it. Get out while you still can. Paris, Tennessee can be so brutal.
Two absolutely wonderful performances. Definitely equal. If you love Lindsay's performance, if you love Mary Claire's performance, get her. Sorry, Lindsay, you have been made extinct. Mary Claire, now this performance, you have evolved many times. And you have finally reached your final stage of evolution, where you will be playing all 4 parts of IST. Give her a round of applause.
Yeah, I like that. I think that'll be good enough to get you like 217 of the coolest people in Paris, Tennessee. I've got like 100 Twitter followers. I guess that'll be good enough. I want to be one of the top 217. You can do it, man. I really believe in you. If you just work really hard, you can get those Twitter followers up. And you know what? I see you. You're already good enough to be like top 300. Just want to be part of the floor party. Get out while you still can. Paris, Tennessee can be total hell.
Alright, y'all, we know that, we're having a lot of fun up here, but science is really serious, like really serious. And so are we. We're all very professional actors up here. So we are going to just show you how professional we are. And so if at any time the 2 players on stage make you laugh, we're going to ding this bell. And the person that dang the bell.
And we're just gonna keep doing that until we get to the end. Okay, cool. We need a suggestion of a place where you maybe won't find scientists, or maybe you will, but it's weird.
Middle-earth.
I didn't hear that.
Speed dating.
Speed dating. Thank you, someone who did that. Thank you, speed dating.
My impact factor is 12.
My impact factor is 12.
Is that good?
Is that good?
I honestly don't know. Wow.
You like that? You want to hear more things I don't know?
That would be great.
I don't know where the clitoris is. I don't know where the clitoris is.
Well, that's less exciting to hear. But I know where it is, so it's not game off.
But my
I know where
But I do know where it is.
Well, I do have a success factor of 12. Whatever that means.
Hopefully it means we can get something done with the clitoris.
Hopefully it means it's not going to the clitoris.
This pamphlet wasn't lying when it said it was speed dating.
That's what your pamphlet says?
Yeah, I'm here for the Beer Whiskey Fest.
That's what mine says. Beer and whiskey.
Oh.
Oh!
Yeah, mine says it right here.
What's yours say?
Yeah.
Speed dating.
Yeah, that's right. You can read. Good for you. No, that's right. Good for you.
I have an impact factor of 12, okay?
That's really good.
I couldn't tell you what it means, but it sounds
It
impressive.
does. You know, it is working.
It's working.
They know where to find the clitoris. Please go to the bathroom. Be back here very shortly. Thank you.
Unlike the killer wombat, he came back from extinction.
What a good joke.
Great. So now for the second part of the show, let's bring back the coolest person in the entire room, probably been to Australia many times, Dr. Larisa DeSantis.
More cool facts! So I have to, I'm like, you have to bring a fossil, right? So what is this? So it's a saber-toothed cat, and it's not a saber-toothed tiger. Actually, I didn't put that in my talk, but you need to know that because it's not any more closely related to a tiger than a lion than any other extant cat, so that's why it's called a saber-toothed cat and not a saber-toothed tiger. All right, but I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our prehistoric predators, some fun stuff. So yes, national predators did come from these guys here. Essentially, they were building the first American National Bank in Nashville, and they started finding fossils in this pit. And when they were finding the fossils, they started, collecting them. And this is how you did science back in the day. Interesting. So we're trying to kind of change that up a little bit. The reason why Johnny Cash is up here is because he actually actually helped fund the Archaeological Society, which helped fund the dig, so inadvertently he helped fund the excavation of saber-toothed cats, which is fun. And so when they came to thinking about, Ice Age, or ice hockey, Ice Age predators, they were perfect item. And so now you can actually, this is from the Bridgestone Arena, you can go in there. Now that is a cast and not a real fossil, but there are some saber-toothed cat fossils in there. That big giant saber has gone missing. So we don't know where it is, maybe a bank exec, we don't know. Somebody knows where it is. But there are other aspects of saber-toothed cats that are there. Their lower jaws and whatnot we found. All right. Okay, but as you saw from that previous picture, there's not many samples. So if I want to study saber-toothed cats, I have to go to other places. And the best place in the world to study saber-toothed cats is Rancho La Brea, which is smack dab in the middle of Los Angeles. It's a really neat fossil site, and essentially, carnivores are pretty rare on the landscape, right? So if you walk outside, the chances of seeing grass are pretty high. Maybe seeing a deer is like in the middle, yeah, and then seeing a coyote, you might occasionally, but you don't see one every day. And so just like their abundance on the landscape, they get preserved in that. However, Rancho La Brea is basically a mess of like sticky goo. And so when you have like a giant mammoth or mastodon getting stuck and it dies, it smells, it moans, groans, whatever, it's attracting, but lots of other carnivores are going to come check it out and want to eat it. And what's going to happen when they come to eat it? They're going to get stuck. So we have lots and lots of carnivores from Rancho La Brea. We also have lots of herbivores, so we can understand how they responded to climate change. So initially it was thought that the reason they went extinct is because they were having to compete with dire wolves. Dire wolves are real for Game of Thrones fans. And in fact, and that was based on these values up top. But when we actually looked at their isotopes, so the chemistry in their teeth, we figured out that the saber-toothed cats over here on the left are very different from the dire wolves over here on the right. And that the dire wolves are actually hunting things from open environments, and the saber-toothed cats are actually taking down things from the forest as well, just like the
Killer wombat.
Oh, great. Okay, got this. Okay, and this pattern persists through time, so we can look at our bison, our horses, our camels through time. We can track our dire wolves and our saber-toothed cats, and essentially see that, like this reconstruction here of a saber-toothed cat taking down a bison. Does that make sense?
No.
No. Why?
Because not forest.
Yes. The bison are eating in open environments and they are eating in closed environments. Very good, you got this. All right. So that led to the commissioning of a new scientific illustration based on our data. And I did my dissertation on tapir, so guess what the saber-toothed cat is eating? Tapir. Yeah. And so they're eating, which hang out in the forest, by the way. And are at La Brea, but I think there's 3 bones, but I had to feature them. And then we've got things like dire wolves taking down those bison and whatnot, and the coyotes are kind of in between doing both. All right, next slide. So we've studied saber-toothed cats, we've studied dire wolves, we're trying to figure out why they went extinct. We've also studied things that survive, like cougars and coyotes. And one of the things that we find is that if you're not a picky eater, you actually survive. And actually being large is a form of specialization. So I always joke I'd like to see a saber-toothed cat take down a rabbit, right? But not very well. Like that's going to be hard. But a cougar can, and so that's why a lot of things survived. Okay, so right now we've got this project going. It's called Project Saber. I'm very proud. I'm not artistic at all, and I did that logo. It stands for Stable Isotopes, Anatomy, Behavior, Ecology, and Radiometric Dating. Basically, for a long time, if I wanted to study the teeth, I would find the isolated, really crappy teeth in the collection and drill those. Someone else would find the isolated bones. We're actually now coming together. We're finding a bunch of jaws. And if we take this jaw, we can measure it, figure out its size. We can get it a radiometric date from the jaw itself. We can get microwear, we can get isotopes, all kinds of isotopes, in fact. And then we can actually correlate that with what was happening in the environment because we have a radiometric date that corresponds with other things like plants and animals. So this is the sort of bad attitude that the saber-toothed cat always gets, is that it's this fierce, mean thing that ate us, and it did. But I actually want you to start thinking of saber-toothed cats like this, and I'll show you why. a skull of a saber-toothed cat looking from sort of like the tongue up, right? And you can see that that hole there where that like piece of fabric is where a saber was, and it just fell out. But you can see that there should be a hole on the other side, right? But there's not. So what this means is this individual actually lost its saber and lived long enough for that bone to regrow in that hole. So it lived for a surprisingly long amount of time without its saber, with only one saber. And this is really kind of familiar because we've looked at specimens of Homo erectus where actually this individual here has no teeth. So how did that survive? Well, that individual probably had its food chewed for it, right? It, like someone must have, chewed it and gave it like a bolus of food. It was given really, because they're really soft things. But essentially, we think the same thing happens with the saber-toothed cats, is they may have actually had access to carcasses. So we looked at the microwear, we put the goo, I pretend I'm a dentist again, and we take molds of these teeth and we analyze them. We looked at injured individuals and healthy individuals. And what we found is that the saber-toothed cats that were healthy were very lion-like, right? They ate flesh and bone, which we sort of expected. But then the saber-toothed cats that had some sort of abscess or some sort of missing saber, that those in fact were much more, gee, I wish I could do that in class, were much more cheetah-like. And in fact, we're actually avoiding eating hard things. Well, if this animal is actually suffering, unable to eat, and unable to hunt things, you would think that it would be scavenging on, whatever was left, carcasses and hard bits of bone. But in fact, it's actually eating softer material than all the healthy saber-toothed cats. Next slide. So with this, it's basically the end, but I'm gonna have one sort of thank you slide at the end. But I want to leave you with some sense of hope that we can help each other. So while the last section we talked about how we're all going to hell in a handbasket, we can actually help each other, be compassionate, and benefits can happen.
Their half-ton prey weighs more than all the hunters put together. It could feed them all, or kill one of them. One that astonished our experts. The old, handicapped lioness joins them at the carcass. She's hungry, but she can't tear through the tough hide with her injured jaw. It looks hopeless, until another lioness does something that changes the way we think about lions. She pulls the carcass open so the old girl can get to the tender meat inside, and patiently holds it. This is how the...
So with that, thank you so much. And if you have any interest in learning more about these compassionate saber-toothed cats or the non-compassionate saber-toothed cats, you can check out our website. And thanks to everyone. And that NSF does not, what do we have to say? It does does not, it supported, it funded this research, but it does not necessarily agree with the statements I have said on stage here today.
Everybody heat your Bunsen burners over to 375. Go ahead, don't stop on my behalf.
I did it.
I didn't.
Okay. Well, you got your knobbly thing there, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to turn it like this, right? You're just gonna hit the gas.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta hit the gas. You should be smoking some.
No, we're don't worry about it.
Knows what she's doing. Stop being rude.
There you go. All right. All right. Now that you got all that worked out, okay? I want to press into y'all's mind. All right. We are in competition next week for the science decathlon. That sounds like okay? And I want this year Paris, Tennessee's high school biology team is going to crush it. Okay?
Yeah.
Biochemistry team. Okay? Now we're messing with these Bunsen burners here. Okay? So I just need
I
for
can
you
make mine go
guys.
higher.
You did. Good for you. I like the initiative.
Look,
I
I
do it.
just wanted to be clear. I just need like one more thing to put on my resume. I don't
Stop
like,
being rude to Coach.
I don't even like science.
You can call me Mrs.
Mrs. Coach.
Mrs. Coach. I'm just here to be here, honestly.
What?
Oh boy.
This is science competition time.
What do we do with people who are just here?
Burn them alive.
That's right.
I'm looking to compose a piece of music for a scene where lions are ripping apart a carcass. And I wanted to like build this sense of just like a swell in your chest that makes you believe in humankind again. Even though it's absolutely brutal what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, I am known for composing that piece. That
Can you sing a little bit of what you're doing?
absolutely, the one that made you feel something for the elephant poachers in that class.
Yeah, it's a little bit Michael Jackson-ish.
A little bit. It's kind of like this. Right? I mean, I know I don't have perfect pitch.
All right. Tell me what you're looking for. I got you. What do you need?
Okay, we want something that if you have saber-toothed tigers like eating a taper, but kind of like gangster rap.
Eat that meat! Eat it right! Kill that beast! All fucking night!
We'll be in touch.
What do you guys need? What are you looking
So we're looking for a scene where a killer wombat
Okay.
is coming down from a tree, but it's having a deep sense of an existential crisis about the fact that it's declining from the top of the predation system. So like we need something that really embodies just like that, but I want it in the style of debut era Taylor Swift.
Okay, all right, let me see if I can get that out. Why are we even here? What does it all mean? At the coffee shop, why you so mean?
Okay.
I'm not gonna hold this open all day. Come get some. Meat is tender. I wish you would eat your fucking dinner. No, picky eaters go extinct.
Maybe we just have really good taste, and I just would rather you maybe speak to me like, hey, look what I did for you. Like, maybe do that, and then I'll come and join you. You know, like.
Do you understand? I could leave you to die. I could just close up the meal. You can't do that high.
Talk a little bit nicer about the food that we're about to eat. Maybe make it a little more appetizing, a little more presentable for me. Like, I don't know, put it on some grass or something. Like, line
You
it
know
up
what?
really nice.
I'm glad you're going extinct.
Guys, I'm stuck. Don't come any closer.
Oh, is he stuck? Here, I'll put you. Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's a target.
So tasty.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh no. The tar looks so good. I only eat tar.
I don't got you.
You're just gonna stand there? You're not even gonna try?
I mean, it seems pretty clear what happened here, and it doesn't seem good.
Maybe if we all like
Roll like no, just stuck in a different way now.
no, I think I'm really fucked.
Larry, remember us.
I will remember you.
Content 2 billion years later. Never happened for long ago.
Wow.
It just seems like kind of dumb, right? Like they're really dumb.
I mean, they could have gotten themselves out of
No, I mean, I don't think that they would have. I'm saying like it's really dumb. Like the one guy got stuck first, right? And then these two dum-dums went in there after him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could have gotten themselves out of this if they really were
Oh,
smart.
you meant like this, like extinction.
Yes,
like
that
people
whole
swimming
thing.
around.
Yeah,
No, they're
Oh.
stupid. This is like really embarrassing.
Y'all gonna help me?
We cut to 1 billion years later. Stay out. These scientists were really dumb when they studied into the La Brea tar pits. They got stuck, and as you can see here, they're literally trying to measure the fossil record, and they just died here.
So dry. It's all been acidified. All the water in my body's gone. I'm a husk. I'll disintegrate.
Yeah, every time we get to 5th period, this is what happens.
I hate school! I wish I was in the magic school bus! Frizzle, go on a picture! This is biology, we're just looking at fucking cells.
Listen, Stan, if you weren't so uppity and you would drink Aquafina instead of demanding Evian, you would have my life on.
Hello, kids!
Miss Frizzle!
It's me,
I had hope for 1 minute.
Mrs. Coach! I got a Winnebago!
That's not the magic school bus.
You got a new lease on life now that you stopped.
That's right! I got a divorce, it's Miss Coach now!
Welcome to Costco. You guys want some hot dogs?
They're like an apple whipping!
Wait, where are you?
Hot dog.
Cat pizza
Hot dog.
and a...
No, they only have hot dogs.
This is
I
Costco.
got boots on the blue.
They definitely
I
have
got
pizza at Costco.
59 cents.
Does Harrison say Costco not have pizza?
No.
Harris, Tennessee will get you.
Where is it?
I got one pizza for the annoying lady.
How are people keep doing this? They just talk and it comes true.
Magic school bus.
Thanks for meeting me here.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been like a really long time. Like, feels like an eon.
Well, is this Evian?
It's the Sonic. I can change it.
Well, this date brought me to a shit place. I got Dasani here.
I can make it every day.
You can make Dasani into
We have
Why didn't you say so?
Julie, you've changed a lot since college.
You know, I grew up and I made some more money and now I can choose the kind of water I have.
Wow. It's true.
Attitude.
Well, I mean, for fairness, we were a little different. I know, growing up in Paris, Tennessee, we just didn't even know those options were out there. I don't know, I just expected, I don't know what I expected.
Well, you invited me on this date.
I did, I was interested in just, seeing how you'd evolved in the last few years and, following you online. I noticed you have like 100 Twitter followers, so it's just, interesting to see it.
Well, that's what happens whenever you leave Paris, Tennessee. You get a degree in a place called Vanderbilt. And you make lots of money.
Alright, so as we all know, rating your professor is kind of a big deal when it comes to school. So that's what we're going to do to you. No, we're not doing it. Don't worry, you're all safe. The final performance we have for you guys tonight is Rate My Professor. So, for example, if you guys, the audience, gave me a suggestion of soup, we would say, my professor is like soup, smoldering hot. And you guys would laugh because it would be So, to get us started, can I get a suggestion of anything that you might have heard from tonight?
Cougar.
Cougar.
My professor is kind of like a cougar. No, she just is one.
My professor is kind of like a cougar going after the small prey that the big ones leave behind.
My professor's like a cougar. You never really see them around. They're probably hiding somewhere.
Okay, can we get another suggestion?
Aerodation.
My professor's like aerodation, dry as hell.
My professor is like aerodation. He leaves me dry as hell.
My professor's like aerodation. He spends a lot of time in Australia.
My professor's like aerodation causes extinction of entire courses.
Another suggestion, please.
Labyrinthic.
Nightmare is what I heard. Nightmare.
My professor is like a nightmare. You think you're having a good dream about him, and then things just get kind of weird.
My professor's kind of like a nightmare. I see him every night.